number of creative approaches with the aim of improving the management of land issues in the country. Some of these approaches are online and powered by Internet of Things. Some are community-based, targeting peaceful coexistence. Some are cross-border and involve interstate actions, among others. The success of these approaches has been made possible because of a strong partnership that we in government have built with a number of partners in the private sector, civil society, faith-based organizations, development partners, AOB, or ETC. This strong partnership approach has paid off, and because of this, we have decided to organize the first ever Learning Week that will enable us to reflect on the progress realized so far under the land sector and also look at the challenges we have ahead of us. The Learning Week will be hosted here in Uganda starting from the 9th of June to 15th of June at Speak Resort Munyonyo. Under the theme, Government and CSO Partnerships in Land Governance, Global Learning. The Learning Week will provide a crucial platform for knowledge exchange and partnership building through dialogue and the sharing of best practice. The participants will develop innovative solutions to address the complex land issues, ultimately improving land rights but also livelihoods for millions across Africa. Uganda will show how we have used partnerships to achieve land tenure security, and so there shall be a series of field visits. And we have picked 2 districts where the participants are expected to go. That is Dokolo and Butaleja. The visits will be from the 9th to 11th of June 2024, aimed at sharing knowledge and experiences about government and CSO interventions. Looking at what we have done so far working with our partners, we have created over 600 communal land associations. They have been incorporated with the support of PELUN Uganda, that is in Kabong. Then LandNet did for us some work in Agago and Noya, and in the Greater Karamoja with Karamoja Development Forum, Dado, Lemu, Moroto Catholic Diocese, Ecological Christian Organization, Mercy Corps, then EU and World Bank. The CLAs, or the Communal Land Associations, have enabled the clans, indigenous communities like the Tipet, the Pokot, and the Iki to be incorporated as legal entities in order to enable them register their customary land, but also acquire what we call customary certificates of ownership. Partners that have collaborated with government to issue the current 82,000 customary titles. We worked with FAO in Kasese, ZOA in Terego and Noya, Wukobak in Butaleja and Padel, Makerere University in Adjumani and Chisoro, IIRR in Kabale and Imbale, act together in Imbale City and Lila City, targeting the slum dwellers to also secure their land rights. The EU and UN Capital Development Fund, under the Office of the Prime Minister, in Apache, Agago, Maracha, Kadasta and Wujama in Bulisa, Namutumba, Koboko, and Kaliro, then GIZ in Soroti, Katakwi, Amlata, and Dokolo, and then the World Bank in Kabong. For certificates of occupants, which are given to Bibanja holders, we have partnered with GIZ, Pact Uganda, Uko Bank, Transparency Uganda, and the Stand for Her campaign group to reach out to the women in the areas of Mubende, Mitiana, Chiboga Kyankwanzi, Kasanda, Mukono, and Gomba. During the field visits, the team will interact with district leaders at all levels. Then the land management institutions, those are the area land committees and the district land boards and the physical planning committees, among others. Then they'll also be in position to interact with the communities. We expect 100 foreign delegates from over 40 countries. 100 delegates from over 40 countries to participate in the Learning Week. The expected guest of honor shall be His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. The areas which the conference will tackle shall include learning from the successful collaborations in the land sector in Africa, Asia, and America. Then sharing case studies on multi-stakeholder partnerships. Then understanding the impact of partnerships in land governance. Then exploring enabling conditions and challenges for successful partnerships. And introducing tools and guides for fostering effective partnerships. Building or handling forced evictions and then remedies. Building effective and efficient land administration institutions. Best practices to conduct and conclude the land reforms. How to handle issues of land frauds and forgeries will be looked at during the meeting. Then also using the IT tools for fostering mapping, surveying, and registration of land. Enhancing revenue generation for government from the land sector in modern times. And the best practices for releasing land for production and securing land for investments. This event is designed for government representatives, facilitators, and members of national land coalitions, multi-stakeholder platforms, land at scale project partners, representatives from the regional and sub-regional institutions, then intergovernmental organizations, academia, technical and financial partners, international NGOs, and then civil society organizations. The Learning Week is organized by the International Land Coalition, Land Collaborative, CIFOR-IC, RAF, then RVO, Land at Scale, and the National Land Coalition Uganda, respective countries. We thought of Munyonyo because of the people who are coming in. If we are saying we are targeting 100 participants, then as Uganda, we don't expect more than 20 to be part of the Learning Week. And we thought of a small group because having a bigger group, it is very difficult for people to learn and comprehend. That's why we said a smaller group, we believe that we can achieve the objective and purpose of this conference. And that's why we are in Munyonyo. We gave you even the list of delegates that we are expecting: technical persons, heads of land coalitions, senior government officials handling land from their respective countries. For the common person, we decided to have field visits. And field visits are going to be in areas where civil society and development partners have been doing some work. And that's why we opted for Dokolo and Butaleja. They are going now to have a feel of what it takes to secure land rights in a community, and they will be interacting with both the community but also the land management institutions in those respective two districts. We would have wanted to do bigger than that, but it may not be possible as of now. Then there is a question of women who are being evicted. I think government has tried to make sure that we manage the evictions in Uganda. And you all bear me witness that by the time we took office, evictions were a daily thing, and they could not miss on our social media platforms, on our televisions, on our radio stations. But going forward, we have seen actually reduction in evictions, especially mass evictions. We have seen reduction. And where they are, actually, it has been because of succession challenges, where relatives and family members are fighting for land. Then we have also seen scenarios where people settle on land and probably they don't know the owner, and when the owner comes and tries to engage them, maybe they feel they shouldn't be engaged. So we have seen also those scenarios where owners come up and people don't want actually to listen to the owners. Yet as we try to fight for the land rights, we are also encouraging coexistence between the Bibanja holders and also the landowners who are known. Because there are those who are not known. Those who are not known, it is a different category. But those who are known, there should be coexistence, which is provided for under the Land Act, where it calls for mediation, discussions to make sure that there is peaceful coexistence between a Chibanja holder and a landlord. Government, through the use of land fund, we have made titles for the vulnerable. And actually, it is one of the projects where the vulnerable people have benefited, because government essentially does everything for them, right from opening boundaries, doing the subdivisions, titling their land. They only look for only the stamp duties, which is not even above 100,000. It's little money for them to get their title, and those are URA fees which have to be paid. But most of the work, when we use the land fund, you realize that land essentially is given at no fee to members of the public, and that's where we have seen women, the youth, the PWDs, the old men who wouldn't even have thought of getting a title are now getting titles because of what His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni decided, that let us use the land fund to handle the problem of historical injustices. Because without it, basically, many people cannot afford to get what is called a title, because the titling process is quite cumbersome and it needs a lot of resources for one to achieve that. I have also in my statement talked about places where we have worked with civil society and development partners, especially in areas of the north and east, where we have customary land. Actually, that's where they operate from mainly. We have been in position to give out what we call customary certificates of ownership, but also communal land association certificates. These certificates have also enhanced land tenure security for the vulnerable communities. Even in slum areas, I remember mentioning some of the slums in Mbale and Lira City, where we have worked with civil society and development partners. In areas where we have Milo, actually what they are trying to promote is coexistence, because they cannot provide a land fund to buy land from a landlord for the Bibanja holders. So they promote coexistence, and that's why I mentioned the few districts in the areas of Kasanda, Mubende, Gomba, Mitiana, where they have been trying to work with landlords. It's not an easy process to make a landlord accept that these are my Bibanja people. You accept them, acknowledge them, register them. But we are trying to convince them to make sure that at least those registers are there, because if you know your people, then it will be very difficult for another person to come and claim, because you registered them. You will ask this one who has come, how did he come to get a plot on your land, because you already have a register. But where we don't have registers, it becomes very difficult to control the influx of Bibanja people on land which does not belong to them. So in areas where a mile is, what they give is called a certificate of occupancy. That is a certificate to recognize you that you are on somebody's land. But ultimately, through the land fund, we believe that if government puts in money in the land fund, then we can approach some of those landlords whose Bibanja holders are known, to tell them that, please, can you sell that land to government so that the Bibanja holders can get their certificates of titles. Because now what they have is certificate of occupancy. But it's a good certificate, because at least now you have a paper which recognizes you that you own somebody's land. And that paper in some of the banking institutions can also be accepted, and you get money to do some agriculture developments on land. And then you pay back slowly. But where you don't have any documentation, it's very difficult for a bank or any money lending institution to come and simply look at your garden and say, yes, we are going to give you money to be in position to increase productivity on your piece of land. That's why we are encouraging those certificates of occupancy, because at least they are legal, they show that you own somebody's land, and also that somebody exactly transpired. So where crimes have been committed, we engage the police, the State House Anti-Corruption, and other bodies to investigate. And where even government officials, be it security, ministers, or any other official being involved, where claims are made that government officials are involved, we have also been investigating such cases. And if there is a criminal element, we normally forward them to the law enforcement officers to give us backup, investigate, and then give us reports. And on that note, I would like to call upon Ugandans that when we are handling land matters, it is important for us to be true and genuine to ourselves. That is very key. Because we have been to the field and we have seen scenarios where people claim that their land is being taken, but when you go on ground, you realize that somebody left his or her piece of land 10 years ago. 10 years ago, and now you are coming back to me as a minister, claiming, seeking redress. At times it is very difficult. 10 years ago, you can imagine a lot of things could have transpired on that piece of land. And we usually ask them, why didn't you report? Why didn't you go to courts of law? We are finding scenarios where people don't even want to go to courts of law, but they want us to handle their matters there and then. And at times, some of the matters that are brought to us, they need court intervention to interpret the laws, but also to make decisions that will stand the test of time, rather than me, a minister, going and making political statements which may not be helpful or which may not be sustainable. So we need to draw a distinction. Where courts are needed to help us, let us use courts. Where the ministry can come in and mediate and also determine a matter, we always go and give our side as a ministry, and there are so many people we have helped. There are many cases we have mediated, and people are living peacefully on their Bibanja with their landlord without any dispute without any problem, because we went and told them the law, what the law says, and what they have to do. You realize that even because of that, many people are coming to us. They are saying, can government buy our land for the people? Only that we don't have money as I speak now. But we have got so many applications of landlords whose land is being occupied by bona fide and lawful occupants coming to the ministry and Uganda Land Commission saying, please take this piece of land, I cannot use it. Can I be paid and go somewhere else where I can find free land to put my developments? That is the stage where we have reached because of our proactive approach. We are in the process of reviewing the land policy. You heard it was made in 2013. So we started the process of review, and that's why we are putting in the new emerging issues. Some of the issues we are talking about in 2013, they were not major issues. But as we speak now, we need land for investment, we need land for production. You know, we need land. And we need to make sure that we are very clear now in this other policy which we are going to set up, a policy that will take us again for another 10 years on the different land uses. I think that's all I have managed to respond to.